Marty, first of all, congratulations on being elected to the Coburn District Sports Hall of Fame. What does it feel like to come back home and relive some memories?
Oh, it's the best. It's to see something like this come together over the last couple of years and all the hard work that Ross Quigley and his committee have done. I had my first viewing of the community and the community center in the hall just yesterday, and it's fantastic. They have kudos to them for sure.
Growing up as an athlete in Grafton and moving up the softball ladder, tell us about that experience.
It was great. I mean, I was saying earlier, I was lucky enough to play in a lot of good teams, and when you play in good teams, you end up winning per se. And when we won, we got to travel around quite a bit, so it opened up a lot of doors, a lot of avenues for me.
I understand you were versatile. You played a number of different positions on the softball field.
Well, I did, but as it ended up, I ended up at third base, and my saying was that's because it was close to the dugout.
What was your favorite position? Anyone in particular?
I enjoyed shortstop when I played there, and then as years caught up, I was over at third base, and I enjoyed that too. But my pitching days didn't last quite as long as I had expected them to anyway, but it's probably a good thing I'm still alive.
Now, in terms of fastball as opposed to baseball, I guess you did play some baseball as well?
I did growing up, and then up to about junior baseball, and then, like I said, after that, they didn't really recognize Canadians due to the fact that if you couldn't throw the ball 90, 95 miles an hour, that's the only thing they were looking for at that point in time were pitchers, and I wasn't a pitcher, so that's why I basically converted to softball.
Now, speaking of softball in Canada, I know you live in the States now. Where is softball now in terms of its growth as far as a sport?
Unfortunately, in Canada, it's dwindling, and too many leagues have folded as of late, but I am involved with the Canadian women's team, and we're prepping right now for the Olympics in 2020. So it's thriving, and then, of course, the women's side in the U.S., it's in all the high schools, all the colleges and everything, so it's a great game, and it's really too bad that the men's side didn't survive.
Would slow pitch have something to do with it?
Possibly, but there's so many different avenues kids can go now. And, baseball or softball wasn't a cheap sport either. So it takes a lot of time, energy, and money. And, unfortunately, it was the one that took the goat.
I remember Dick Grayman used to host a big tournament in Grafton every year, 52 teams. I guess that's the type of thing, that's a thing of the past.
And it is. And I think that, quote me if I'm wrong, but 31 years that he had put that together. And my dad was instrumental, and my mom and everything in that too. So, yeah, when you see something that big fall apart and they no longer have that tournament down there too, it's really too bad.
So you're involved with helping out the Canadian women's team. What's your involvement there as a coach?
Yes, I'm an assistant coach. I look after the so-called offensive side and got them doing some drills, and they've been hitting the ball pretty good. So hopefully if we get the pitching, we should be able to medal.
Now, you mentioned the United States. How is softball there in the United States per se?
About the same as it is here on the men's side. It's few and far between. There might be a couple leagues throughout the country, but that's about it. They still have the ISC, the International Softball Congress, but they've had to open that up to juniors and everything too, just to have enough teams to participate in it.
Well, Marty, congratulations. Thanks for the time and all the best.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.